At my promotion ceremony, my parents announced they had secretly adopted a better child to take over my life decisions. I'm standing there in my suit holding my award for youngest VP at the company when my parents walk on stage. I thought they were proud. Instead, my dad grabs the mic and says, "We'd like everyone to meet Linnea, our new daughter who'll be making all of Kieran's major decisions from now on." A stranger walks out, blonde, confident, holding legal papers. My parents beam like she just cured cancer. "Kieran's always been impulsive," my mom announces to 200 coworkers. "Linnea has a psychology degree and will help guide his choices. We've given her financial power of attorney." The room goes dead silent. My boss looks mortified. I'm supposed to be celebrating the biggest moment of my career, and my parents just publicly declared me incompetent. Growing up, I was never good enough. When I got a B+, they asked why it wasn't an A. When I made varsity soccer, they wondered why I wasn't captain. When I graduated summa cum laude, they said my brother would have done better. Nothing I achieved mattered because I wasn't perfect. The control got worse after college. They'd show up at my apartment unannounced to check on things. They demanded access to my bank accounts just in case. When I started dating Alara, they interviewed her like she was applying for a job. When I got engaged, they insisted on approving the venue, the guest list, even the ring. Alara couldn't take it anymore. "They're not your parents, Kieran," she said the night she left. "They're your wardens." She was right, but I was too deep in their manipulation to see it. The breaking point came 6 months ago. I'd been working 80-hour weeks for this promotion. The day I found out I got it, I called them, excited to finally have news they'd be proud of. My dad's response? "Well, don't let it go to your head. Success can make people reckless." I realized my trust fund payments had been getting smaller each month for the past 2 years. When I asked about it, they gave me vague answers about management fees and market fluctuations. But I knew the trust was supposed to be locked until I was 30, with only my parents as trustees. I started digging. The original trust documents showed it should have been worth over $800,000 by now, but the statements they showed me indicated barely $300,000 remained. The numbers didn't add up. That's when I hired Callum, a private investigator who specialized in financial fraud. "Family cases are always the worst," he told me. "The people who love you the most can hurt you the deepest." 3 weeks later, Callum called me into his office. The evidence was devastating. Bank records showed systematic withdrawals over 4 years. My parents had been siphoning money to cover their gambling debts, failed investments, and luxury purchases. The beach house they claimed to have saved for, bought with my money. The European cruise they took last summer, also my money. But the real kicker was the adoption paperwork. Linnea wasn't some random psychology graduate. She was a debt counselor they'd met at Gamblers Anonymous. They'd legally adopted her as an adult so she could access my trust fund when they couldn't steal anymore. The plan was to have her drain what was left and disappear. I spent weeks planning my response. The ceremony was perfect timing. Public, professional, with witnesses who mattered. I prepared the evidence package carefully. Bank statements, adoption papers, Callum's full report, and a letter from my lawyer detailing the criminal charges we were filing. As I stood there listening to them humiliate me in front of my colleagues, I felt strangely calm. They thought they were taking control of my life one final time. They had no idea I was about to take control of theirs. My phone buzzed with a text from Callum. "FBI is standing by. Ready when you are." I looked out at the audience. My coworkers looked uncomfortable, my boss looked concerned, and Linnea was already eyeing the exits like she knew something was wrong. But here's what they didn't know. I'd hired a private investigator because my trust fund payments kept shrinking. My parents had been stealing from it for years. I pulled out my phone and clicked send. The evidence went to everyone in that room, including the FBI. "Linnea, meet my lawyers. Mom, Dad, meet the consequences of embezzling $400,000. Security moved as emails hit phones. My dad went white. The best part? My promotion bonus was more than they stole. I'm buying my own house next